So today's topic is inventory variations, which is a new feature for us, something that we've wanted to do for quite some time, but is a new feature in the system as a precursor to a bigger system or a bigger change coming very soon. So we're going to move to a master directory, which basically means every product available in our category across basically the US, all approved products will be in the system so that it will default for you things like the unit count or the way that it comes or how you apply it, like a treatment versus an injection. So we're going to have a lot of updates that are specific to inventory coming very soon to make things uniform throughout. And in order to do that, we have to give you some options for variations because you guys like to create very fun, exciting variants to products that you put in your inventory, and it kind of throws some things off. So we're going to give you the magic formula to get that fixed today. I'm going to go ahead and advance through just a couple things because I think it's helpful to see. So I put on this slide, what is a product? So this is going to sound really elementary, but when we talk about products for our purposes, and as we go to the master directory, if you can't hold it in your hand, it's not a product. So an add-on, variations of things are not products. Products are the actual thing that comes in the box when you order from McKesson or from Allergan or from Cool Sculpting or a skincare company. The physical thing is what we're going to inventory. So I use the example of the bucket of Botox all the time. Like, what's in your bucket of Botox? Just Botox. No variations, just Botox. So as we think about these inventory variations, think about that as kind of your guiding force, that a product is a physical thing that you hold in your hand. So if you think about that, then it's like, what is not a product? Indications are not products. So rest and lift hands, it's just rest and lift that we're using for hands, or a Botox lip flip. A lip flip has nothing to do with it. It's just Botox being used in a different way. Things like a Sculpture BBL, or if you're going to do add-ons, we'll talk about that in a minute as well, or different prices for different injectors. So if you think about the bucket of Botox, whatever that bucket of Jeuveau or bucket of Botox or Dysport, whatever it is, any variation to that, any alias of that needs to be thought of in a different way than the actual bucket of inventory. So I think it's like Amazon's what I use a lot. When you go to Amazon, you click on the shirt that you like, it shows you different sizes, different colors, but the shirt is the shirt. You're just looking at variations. So these can be aliases, they can be variations, however you want to say it, but they're things that are happening all the time that you want your invoice to display or show that don't impact the way that your inventory is actually being counted down in the back end. So one great example of these as well, we'll talk about this in a second too, is on packages. We had an injector ask us, I don't know, maybe even a year ago, I do this package every day. It's not a promotion. I want to just have it as a package in my inventory. That's what this will do for you. If you have things that are everyday occurrences that are not promotional, you want them to just always be the Sculpture BBL 10 vial package every day of your life, this is where you would do that. If you want to put that on sale, make a promotional version, but the actual thing that you're charting is Sculpture BBL. So hopefully, does that align? Hopefully any of you that are hearing this out there, that kind of makes sense with, if I can't hold it in my hand physically, it's a variation. Only things I hold in my hand are true inventory items. Does that make sense, Victoria? Am I off my rocker?
Good for me. I guess if anybody doesn't understand that, please use the Q&A or raise your hand and we'll explain a little further.
Raise your Q&A for sure. Okay, so we're going to go through how to build these in just a second, but a couple quick things to think about. For those of you who have a lot of inventory in your system, a lot of services happening, this is a really good way to centralize your inventory. So we're going to talk about data cleanup tomorrow and how to make your system more accurate, which will be a whole nother tangent we can go on. But on your inventory variations, think about this as centralizing inventory. If you have 87 versions of a chemical pill, you may need to centralize that to the actual physical chemical pill and then make variations of whatever the changes are. If you want to have a different price for every injector, much like a hair salon does, if you're a master provider, you pay more than if they're not a master provider. This is a perfect example of how to charge different prices for the same thing without messing up your inventory. And then if you want to pull all kinds of variations from the same bucket, if you use a system today, before this particular feature rolled out, you'd have to have a bucket for Victoria's Botox and for Tiphany's Botox and for JT's Botox. Now we can just have Botox and then have different variants based on who we are. And then lastly, everyday prices for packages, combo, sessions, treatment combinations and things can all be done here. So this will help you to have one inventory for all things no matter what the pricing variation is. Capiche? Makes sense? Those of you who just joined, we're talking about inventory variations. So I'm going to flip over to some examples that we're going to talk about today. We have an example of basically all these built into our system to show you. So if you're using one of these, hopefully as you review this or look back on it, it'll make sense of how to do it in your own system. But you'll see a lot of areas of indication. If you charge more for tear troughs, for instance, many of you do, than you do for other areas. Restylane L may be the thing you hold in your hand. Tear troughs versus maybe lips or even cheeks or temples or whatever. So I want to be able to price per indication so that when the patient gets the invoice at the end of the treatment, it says on the invoice directly, Restylane Lift Tear Trough, with the price already determined. There's no manual manipulation or manual discounts or adding back. It's charted the way that it's charged and what the patient sees in the invoice. We mentioned provider pricing being different. We're going to look at combos as well. So if you have like where you do Dysport and a Juvederm even, or whatever combinations are, or if you're doing things like an Aspire promo and you want to have them all grouped together and then keep them together indefinitely, great choice. Series, we'll talk about how to put things in the wallet if you're doing a series. And then we'll talk about things like multiple different random things into one treatment or one service. And then we'll have a few signature services, some add-on products, and then we'll end up with some member-specific pricing variations. Many of you want to be able to customize every product for your membership, which isn't really an option in our system, but you could create a variation that is a member-only variant that you can put in here. So if you want to do some crazy extreme cold sculpting discount for members, this is a perfect place to do it since you can't do it in your actual membership pricing model. So we'll give you lots of options and you can see what you want to use. So I'm going to flip on over here, I think, to my control center. Victoria's going to be our handy dandy charter today to show us how to do some charting. So, and Victoria, jump in at any point if I'm too confusing.
I will.
I like to work quick.
We can see your AR screen, so you should be good. And
my 87 things open at the top. Sorry, guys. Got a lot going on up here today. Okay, so if you are in your AR portal, for those of you who may not be overly familiar with your inventory sections, if you go to your dashboard, your landing page, and just click on inventory, you're going to see the first one is your inventory. Again, what are those items? Things you can physically hold in your hand. So we probably have 1 million of these in here that are not good, that we have, that are just before the variations happen. We've got add-ons and all kinds of things. But these are going to be things that are in your physical inventory. You can touch, you can inventory them, put them on a shelf. Now we have our variations. So again, a little different animal. So we got lots of options in here. I'm just going to run through a couple of these and how to create them. But I mentioned before, like a member-specific promotion. So we're going to look at this one right here. Let's say we're a big microneedling practice and we want to do a members-only version. So in this particular example for microneedling, an average customer pays $4.99 for a microneedling treatment. Members pay $3.75. I want to have a 3 series where there's a total price here at the membership discount rate, which is more than I normally would give them off of a membership plan. And so I have a specific member pricing only variant. So when I go to chart that, put it on the invoice, it will show up as a member microneedling package at the discounted rate. And then if you have things that we're gonna go through and chart some of these to show you, but I think like a perfect pout combo, if you have a signature service, you guys know Shino Bay, he does this like with everything, has a signature service, it's almost trademarked. So let's say the perfect pout for you always includes 1 syringe of filler and then some around the mouth toxin. That together is considered to be a service for your clinic. You can actually build that service as a variant, as you see here, and chart Versa and Dysport separately, but they roll up on the invoice as a perfect pout combo at the $8.50 price. They're not going to be 2 different prices. You have to go in and change and manipulate or put in a promotional package. Then another variation, I'll show you a couple of variations and we'll go through like how to do it. I like the one on Sculpture BBL. So we got 10 units. So they may not get all those in one treatment, it might be like successive treatments. Maybe we charge more for BBL than we do for face sculpture. Maybe the face would be 800 or 8,000, the BBL would be 8,800. So you could again change the pricing variation of the product the area being the butt versus the face. And I think of a couple more that could be a little different here.
I think your mic just kind of cut out, at least on my end. Let's see if you're. Let's do a little test.
Hold on. Hold on.
It's kind of going in and out, but you're still pretty good though. If you guys miss anything, just chat us and we can, oh, she's got her handy dandy earpiece. There we go. Maybe.
Now, can you hear me now?
All good.
Well, that was really dramatic. Sorry, guys. Okay, what did I miss, Victoria? What did I miss?
All right, so we're just going through how do we build some of these variations.
Yeah, so what do you want to build first? You want to build a big, intense thing, or you want to do some pricing variations?
Let's do some pricing variations.
Okay, so you want to have Victoria's Disport.
Let's do it.
She's our master provider. So we have two options here, a collective recipe, which could be multiple series of things together, or it could be, I want to charge like for the Glam Up or the Glow Up, which is one price with all kinds of things in it. In our case, we're just going to charge for Disport at a product level, and we're going to look for Disport. And let's say that our average provider charges $1. This is obviously not real. The Victoria is such a good injector, a master, that we're going to charge Victoria at $3. So if you book with her, you expect to pay more. You could also do the same for all clinics. And so when we go to chart Victoria's Disport on our system in just a second, the invoice will reflect automatically a $3 charge with the name of the product being Victoria's Disport. So look at you, fancy. You got a little bit better version here. Let me show you one that's kind of like that. That could be a bit of a different or similar thing. So actually, you know what? Let me delete this and we'll build it. We'll build it live. So another product option. So let's say that we have a patient coming in and they're getting a full face of all kinds of stuff and they need just one more add-on Voluma to finish off the look. And you're like, you know what? They've already paid for everything else. They've already had the chair time. We want to give them a good deal for this add-on. Historically, you'd have a thing in your inventory called an add-on syringe, which would be a no-no now. Instead, we're going to go product level and find our Juvederm Voluma, which is traditionally, if we chart it as a single syringe, this price, but for an add-on, we're going to charge $600. When I chart add-on Juvederm Voluma, I get $600 on my invoice. When I charge regular Juvederm Voluma, I'm going to get $799. So I keep hitting the add more. Sorry, guys. Doesn't matter. I keep thinking it's a save button, and it's not the save button. So any questions on that so far? Is it making sense? Yeah, no. When we start to chart it, it'll make even more sense. Any others that you want to look at?
I would say one important one. So we often hear of, you took us through the Sculpture BBL, but I think too, when you think about recipes, so let's say that you're doing, you know, microneedling with PRP. If you have, we can actually go into that and take a look, but hopefully we'll see if it's set up correctly.
Yeah. Whoa.
Good. So on this would be a great example of your pooling, rather than building an item in inventory called microneedling with PRP. This is a great example of you're taking your actual microneedling tip and you're taking, like, if you have a PRP kit, and you're putting that in here to create a recipe essentially. So that would be another good example. Even if you're doing, I don't know, hydrofacial and a certain serum of some sort, that's another great example of, you know, something to add in here. I'm trying to think any other big ones.
Well, I think this is a great example too of, if you do this in traditional format, you have one of two choices. Either you build a service called microneedling with PRP, which when you do that, it will be hard to inventory both the microneedling tip and the PRP, because you can't inventory two things with one item. And I can hold them both in my hand, so they're actually two different inventory items. So that's one part of it. And the other part is, you don't really want to show the customer what you're charging for the tip versus PRP. It's a service. So the whole thing is just this price. It's like a vampire facelift. You don't charge for the PRP and the filler, you just charge for the vampire facelift, which on the back end includes pulling something out of your inventory for filler and a PRP kit. But the patient doesn't care about either one. They care about the overall thing is a vampire facelift, and put that on the chart. So I think this is a perfect example, Victoria, of how this is very helpful. And then I think the other one that might be beneficial is if you're doing a really like big combo. So I'm going to look at this just Allergan liquid facelift. You have Botox, Ultra, and Voluma all together, and the whole thing is just called Allergan facelift. So you're seeing you can chart different colors per package that are per thing that's in the package, and you'll be able to see in a second. You can send those things to the wallet if they don't use them all in one treatment, or it's like this is the price. If you use more or less, we'll vary it, on our office end, but the price for the patient is always going to be this price. So I think there's also ways there. If you're packaging lots of random things together, you can set a price. Maybe this is your thing year round all the time. Again, the signature services. If you're doing IVs, so there's a future state of this coming very soon that includes medical supplies. So like an IV, for instance, might include both the IV bag, the hosing, so it's called hose, whatever the thing.
Tubing, I don't know.
Tubing, yeah, not hosing, tubing. I've been gardening too much apparently, tubing, and then all the various vitamins that you put into your IV. The patient doesn't care what the tubing costs. They care that their IV treatment is X on the invoice, but on the back end, you're pulling out of inventory the tubing, the saline, the vitamin C, the whatever it is for your cocktails, etc. So it's allowing the patient to see a really unified version. You're not having to manipulate anything in the invoice, and on the back end, we're pulling all the things off the shelf that you've been using. So we have a question coming in, which makes me so happy. Oh yeah, Melissa, for sure, membership. So membership is just usually a discount on something that is just for members. So if you think about the membership, in this instance, hold on, my share button broke. Let's say the lip flip, Botox, that's for everyone. Every patient that you see is able to buy a lip flip Botox. So this combination of things, this 10-unit price. So in our case, lip flip Botox, no matter how much you use, we charge $150 for lip flip. That's what it's going to cost, $150. That's for any patient coming in. So not a member, no membership part of that. It's just the lip flip is $150. Now, if you want to add a membership discount to that, you'd have that in your membership discount percentages, but this would be things that every patient can get that are just standard combinations. So instead of making a promotional discount, promotional package, it's an everyday variation. It's like saying the shirt is small, medium, or large. It's always going to be a variant. And then you can add your additional discounts on top of that. Because you can actually put these things in and then take discounts off of them at the point of sale.
I think
oh, go ahead.
That's okay. I was just gonna say real quick, can you go to the actual inventory section? So for anyone that is new to using memberships with AR, if we click on anything.
Let's do Botox, because I think we have one in that.
Perfect. So right now, the way that it works is that you can add in member pricing for a single tier membership. So granted, if you have, let's say 3 memberships, this pricing would be applicable for all of those memberships. So one way that you can use the inventory variations is, let's say that maybe, I don't know, you have a gold membership, and on that specific membership, there is special pricing for microneedling only. That would be where you would put the inventory variations, or you would build member microneedling inside of inventory variation. So if you think of one-off things that you're like, oh gosh, I really want to add this discount, but I can't put it here on this inventory page, and I also don't want to do a blanket discount on everything in my account, that's where it would be applicable. So does that make sense, Melissa? If not, we can explain further.
I think one more that would be, let me see if there's any, I'll tell you what will happen if you don't do it this way. Do I have any add-ons in here?
Felt like we did.
I think one thing that a lot of accounts, because we see a lot of inventory, we migrate people over from other things. Let's say here, PRP add-on. Here's the danger with an add-on, is if you think about a lot number, let's use the Juvederm example we had before, the add-on Juvederm Voluma. The way that our system works is Juvederm Voluma has traceability, right? So we know for the Juvederm Voluma inventory item in our system today, we have, let's say, 500 units. Let me actually find that real quick. That make more sense to see in real life. And then once we chart it, it'll make even more sense. So let's say for Voluma, to use our example before, I know that for all of Voluma on my shelf today, if I walk into the supply room, I have I think 42 units. I've got 42 boxes of syringes of Juvederm, which divided by 2, obviously they come in packs of 2, but I've got 21 boxes of Juvederm Voluma in my office today. We know that based on this number is the real inventory. If I create another item called add-on Juvederm Voluma in my inventory, it's not tied to this bucket at all. However, I only have 21 boxes of inventory. So if I have another item called add-on Juvederm Voluma, and I'm taking product out of that as another inventory item, I can't connect on the back end the buckets. I get one bucket of Voluma. So in order to take one bucket of Voluma and parse it out to an add-on or to an Allergan facelift or to just a Juvederm Voluma single syringe, I have one bucket. So in order to vary that with different things, I have to tie all these variations to the one bucket. So in my inventory, I'm going to track the bucket of Voluma. And I'm going to have variations to say different prices, different areas, different combinations, whatever things I want to do, but they always tie back to my single bucket of Voluma. Otherwise, if you do it as inventory items, you're saying you have multiple buckets of Voluma, which is not true. You have one bucket of Voluma. Unless you want to parse out and say, I want to use these 10 for this service and these 10 for this service, well, that's going to kind of be a nightmare for you. So one bucket used in multiple ways, accomplish that through variations. Did that make any sense at all, Melissa, as far as like memberships versus what this is? Maybe, I don't know. Let's chart.
Let us know.
You want to chart them? Let's chart some things. I think it'll make it really easy to see.
Chart them.
Too, on some more benefits.
Okay. I'm uploading pictures real quick, and Zoom is, being Zoom. So
Zoom loves us so much.
Moment.
Good thing that the telehealth portal is faster than Zoom. Yes, Melissa, play around with it and let us know. It's just, think about inventory as, again, things you hold in your hand. Everything else is a variation. Our own team had a brain conundrum getting used to this, so you are not alone. You are not alone.
All right, you can see the iPad?
We can. I can see John with his great hair.
I know. Okay, so many of you are familiar with this screen. This is where we start to log those procedures. So you will notice one of the changes up here. Now it says select product/package. So if we go ahead and click that, you will notice you have inventory variations right up here. So you're just going to select inventory variations at this point in time. And then what example do we want to use? Where's my facelift? There it is.
You got an Allergan facelift.
We'll do the Allergan facelift. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and then we'll zoom in here. So you'll notice what will happen up here is it tells me we're going to start with Botox, which is fine. You can start with something different by clicking the drop-down menu here, but for today's purposes, I'm just going to go in order. So don't make fun of my charting. I'm not a professional here, so they might look crazy. There we go. Okay. All right.
As she said before, guys, she is not a professional. Do not try this at home.
Clearly. All right. So you will notice a few things. So if you have not used everything that's included in your variation, it will tell you right up here that, oh, I have 4 units left. So you can choose to either use those or not use them. There will be an option once we finish this up here in just a second to either add things into the wallet if you want, or if you're like, nope, today's price is today's price, you'll have the option to not add it to the wallet. So I'm going to leave that kind of as is. And then, oops, let's go back here. And let's go to Ultra. And I'm going to just log.
Give him some syringes.
Let's go back here. He's gonna blow up. So, all right. So now we are. Get rid of that. Let's go down to Voluma and
1 per cheek.
I know I'm really messing up these little points here. Anyway, So if we go ahead and mark that, we'll pretend that this was a little higher on his face, but I'm gonna actually decrease that. And then I'm gonna double tap again. So I am going to not use every single product on the photo right now so we can show you guys what this actually looks like. So you'll notice we have our different colors that are in relation to the different products that we've used. So if we hit that save icon in the top, maybe, here we go. All right, so once we save that, I am going to now hit the checkout button. Now that's just a little credit card up at the top, but one other quick thing actually before we go, the treatment summary here. So if we think about traceability and tracking your active inventory, this is where you tie your traceability in, after every single treatment that you do. So if you click that plus traceability button, you can select from this drop-down menu your batch ID, and you can even tie in multiple batch IDs or lot numbers into your procedure if you use, 2 different vials of Botox, for example. But you can go through and add that, and keep in mind for inventory tracking purposes, when we think about injectables, this is how you get the inventory to deduct. So for retail products, it'll be on a per purchase basis, but just kind of keep that in mind here. So we are going to go ahead and make our way to the checkout screen. So here's the screen that we have been waiting for. So as far as deciding if we want to send things to the wallet, and I actually yesterday, I had a light bulb moment and I was so happy when I found this out. So let's say that you don't use all the products as we did in this example here. We can simply just say, no, I don't want to send these to the wallet for a future use. Now let's say that you are sending it, you just simply click that yes button and then it will parse everything into the wallet. So we will send these to the wallet. And then you'll notice at the checkout screen on your invoice here, it will have Allergan facelift listed out with that price. So our standard price is $3,800. So if I go ahead and finalize the checkout screen here, this will send everything that we didn't use into the wallet. Receipt. All right, so we're heading back into our wallet. So you'll notice now he had prepaid for a few things, so he's got an accumulation of a little bit in here, but you'll notice we've added more toxins and then Voluma into the wallet as well. So that's kind of one way to streamline that process. Now, actually, Tiffany and I were talking about it last night, but if you think about cases where, maybe you're doing a lip flip and maybe half of the time you're using 15 units and then half of the time you're using 20 units. We do recommend that when you're building your variations to actually maybe aim on the higher side of things, because once again, you can select, I don't want to send it to the wallet. So, and maybe you can explain that I don't know if I'm explaining it too well, but.
Oh, you are. I think we also have one in that same example where we've had a lot of people ask, what if I want to do additional units? So you have 2 ways that you can track this. So in one case, to Victoria's point, I might know that my average lip flip is 15, but that I sometimes go to 20. I might just build it for 20 units as like my charting amount, and I'm going to charge $150, let's say, or $200. Then if I use less than that, just don't send it to the wallet. Like lip flip period is $200. We don't care if you get 1 or 50, it's $200 period for us to do it. Or you could do another option that we have in here. You could do your lip flip at your 15 like normal, which we have as one of our charting options. You guys saw that earlier. And then we also have a discount called add-on lip flip units. So I could add on more at the discounted rate so that I could have a true version of what it actually used. So remember that traceability is only going to take out what you physically used. So if you only used 15 of the 20, you're only going to trace out of your inventory 15. But from the invoice perspective, it might be, hey, you bought a lip flip, which is this amount, and you also got additional units, which we gave you at a discounted rate. So I can have on the invoice my add-on lip flip units and then my lip flip so that it kind of balances it out. But you get to kind of pick and choose what you want to do. So to Victoria's point, if the event is today, and it's like you're going to get a facelift, and it can be up to 5 syringes, whether you use 2 or 5, the price is $1,000, then you send nothing to the wallet. If it is, you're going to be buying in a package of some sort, put it in the wallet. So it can go either way. It's really your choice. We have a question coming in. You can do a no charge touch-up Botox. So I would recommend that you do that as a complimentary versus a no charge, so that it's still showing on the invoice and on the chart as being done. You're just comping the price of it because you want to capture the fact that you gave a full discount. So I think Victoria can probably show us that too, because from an accuracy and reporting, I want to show that I actually lost out on the $15 a unit times 5 because I had to do a no touch or a no price touch up versus making it an inventory item called zero touch up or zero Botox. So it also depends on how you want things to render. So in this case, if she's doing 10, she can just hit complimentary, and then it shows as no dollars in her bucket.
Just make sure, as a rule of thumb, if you guys are adding a comped item into the cart, make sure you click complimented and then hit save, or it will not work. So.
Yeah, because then in that case, if you're looking at your provider's AOV, like if you care about what they're making per hour per patient, this will show that you put 120 in their bucket of money today, but you also subtracted out 120. So it keeps your, if you're an accounting nerd like I am, it keeps your credits and debits matching. Where if you do a $0 Botox touch-up, Victoria's not getting hit for the fact that maybe the first time around it wasn't perfect and they had to come back and get a touch-up. She's getting like a carte blanche, $0. It didn't hurt the practice. It didn't cost us anything, $0. Well, actually, it did. It cost the practice $120 in potential revenue because I comped it out. So it's more of like whatever you want your mindset to be, because you could always make a variation that says Botox is, you know, a big discount. But I recommend that you do the complimentary and deduct it out of what you would have had as like a revenue number.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that.
So did that help, Gretchen? Hopefully it did. Oh, about the area and so the unit. Melissa, you betcha, sister. That's the lip flip that we're talking about. So if you charge by the area, even better. So actually we can do, let me put one in real quick, Victoria, on my end that you can chart. Okay. So give me 1 second. I will do like let's do crow's feet. You want, well, hold on. I'll give you a glabella real quick.
That. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll do Dysport glabella. And I'm gonna actually give you more than you need. I'm gonna give you 65 units.
Load me up, sister.
You betcha. Let's see here. Let me go back real quick. Go back. What do I want to charge for our glabella? Let's see. I'm going, guys. Sorry. On the fly here.
You're fine.
What is, let's see. Let's do 350. And we're going to make that. Okay, well, we'll make that 50 units. Actually, let's do this. Okay. We're going to put it in as, okay, so you should have in your system now a Dysport glabella. And I'm not going to tell you anything else until you chart it, and I'm going to tell you what's happening on the back end that you're not even going to see.
Ooh, okay.
It's like mystery theater.
I know. So we're back on our guys' photos here. Okay, so I want to make sure this loaded in. There we go. Perfect. Okay, yep. So we're going to go ahead and choose Dysport glabella.
And I put in 60, you see there 65 units, which we know on label 50. People always do 60 because they do 3-to-1 with Botox. But now Victoria has a traditional 3-to-1 plus an extra wiggle room at the end in case she wants to go over without impacting the fact that her Dysport glabella has a certain charge, which we'll see when she goes to invoice it. But you can just not put them in the wallet.
Oh, there we go. All right. Can you see? There we go. Okay. So, like I said, this is crazy town in here. Okay. So, do you want me to log anymore?
Yeah, make those all 5 if you can. Just because if not, we're going to be He's gonna have movement forever. If you can't, it's no big deal.
There we go. It wants me to log it before. There we go.
Okay, that's fine. Just put some random stuff.
That'll be enough. There we go.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
we'll hit done. Checkout screen.
Yeah, let's do it. So in this case, if we just charge Glabella, we don't care about the units, then we just wouldn't put these in the wallet. We'd say the Glabella cost the $350, whether you get 50 or 65 is up to the provider's discretion, but the Glabella is this amount of money. And so I'll just hit no and send nothing to the wallet, and the charge just shows up on his invoice as this for Glabella, done. He doesn't see any unit count. He doesn't see anything about units. So to your point, Melissa, get units out of your head. It's just Glabella costs this amount of money. And on the back end, we see as providers charting our unit count. He just sees that he paid for the area. So that's an example of, we're probably not going to use 65 units, but if we want to give ourselves a little bit of leeway, we can just say no to the wallet. So it's not going to matter if there's more than we need, but we know that we have at least 65 to play with. So does that answer the question, hopefully? It could also work like we had wrestling hand earlier. So I have a cheaper price than, you know, what we would say for like lips was an add-on or something.
So
touch up is good. So we have another option here. So let's go, we can do an add-on price too. So let's say he comes back for a touch up and it's like, you know what, you know, you got what you needed, but you think that you need some more, but we don't really agree with you. We'll go ahead and give you a discount and split the difference with you on a touch up. We actually have that in here as well, where we have an add-on cost. So we've taken the price of, I think it's actually add-on Botox. Let's see.
I'm only seeing add-on.
Oh, lip flip additional units. Let's pretend that said Glabella additional units. You see lip flip. So let's say that think about this if this was Dysport pricing instead of Botox pricing. There's an option here for the additional units that you might say if the regular Dysport Glabella cost, you know, $7 a unit, we'll do your add-on instead of a comp, your add-on units at $4 a unit, so you get a discount. That way it's not totally free for you. You could have like an add-on price so that you don't just give away your time, or you can do it for the full price and comp the whole thing. So it's just a matter of what you want to choose. So this again gives you lots of flexibility so that you're not doing it at the point of sale, like trying to figure it out in the front of the customer and doing math and all that kind of stuff. No math required.
Okay, I'm still in my other invoice, so that's why it's asking me again for my other procedure. Does that make sense, Melissa, though, having those two different options to either split the cost with your patient or comp it at the checkout?
And people ask us every time we discuss this, what if they need more? To your point, Melissa, just add in more. If you want to just do regular Dysport and add in more and then just discount that at point of sale or comp it at point of sale, even though you're choosing a package that has Dysport in it, it doesn't keep you from adding in just plain old Dysport as an inventory item too. You can do both.
And one other thing too, if you guys are new to this discount screen, so you saw when we made something complimentary a little bit ago, but if you click on this, you can always discount on a per item basis. So if you wanted to do a dollar amount off or a percentage off on the, you know, thing as a whole, you can do so, and then you can always change the quantity up here. But once you make those adjustments, just always hit that save icon, but that's how you do an item specific discount. So.
And Gretchen, to your question, is it by the unit or one price for the add-ons? The beauty of it is you get to choose. So you could say we have an add-on package where, you know, we'll give you up to 10 units at this cost for an add-on and the price is this. Could be one variation, or you might say any additional units that we give you as a touch-up are always at half off. So if you come back within 2 weeks for a touch-up, you always can pay, you know, you pay half of the regular price if you want to. Then inside of your inventory variation, you just choose to do it by the product, and it doesn't matter how many units you use, it's just that the units for this particular variation, the add-on product variation, are a different price. Actually, let me steal your share screen, Victoria, for 1 second, because I think I can make that come to life. So Gretchen, in your example, and Susan will come back to show you how to do that in 1 second. In the example that we're using here for the add-on, so let's say that I did the Glabella, Dysport Glabella, and I charge my $350 for it. And then we say, you know, if you come back within 2 weeks, our promise to you as a customer is that we will give you a discount because perhaps we didn't do it the right way, or, you know, whatever, or you're picky Pete. Usually you're just a picky Pete. What I can do in that case is say, for my add-on glabella Dysport people that have bought that package or bought that promo of that, or that thing of that area, what I'm going to do for them is, instead of them paying regular price, I'm going to say within the 2-week window that they can instead pay $2 a unit. Whether I do 1 unit or 926 units, they're only going to pay in that touch-up period $2 a unit. So I'm going to chart on John's face the version of that called add-on glabella Dysport at week 1 when he comes back in for his, you know, for his follow-up visit. And then that's just how many units you want to charge. Doesn't matter to you. But the glabella Dysport is the one that you have as a package deal with units already in it. Add-on is just a different price per unit than the regular price would be. Does that make sense, hopefully? It'd be the same as if Victoria charges one price for Botox and I charge another price. I'm going to chart my version, she's going to chart her version, so that the pricing shows up the right way on the invoice. And I think we have a question about going back to the discount screen, Victoria.
Yeah.
And then Melissa, yes, so you're doing that, Victoria. You can save your invoice for the front desk to check it out. Absolutely. We'll show you how to do that as soon as we get through here. We'll show you how to hit that button.
So we are now at the checkout screen. So if you add something into your cart, you can use the gray icon in the middle to maximize your cart. If you click on the item that's sitting in here right now, that will then bring up your item specific discount screen. So you just enter in whatever you'd like to discount, and then you simply will save that once you're ready to go. All good, Susan?
And I'm the worst, guys. Truth moment here. I hit the little negative button all the time. I delete products out of here trying to hit the discount button every single time. So I have to remember to myself, it's the hyperlink of the product name, not the little negative button, because you'll just keep deleting stuff out. And then if you wanted to save it for the front desk to check out, can you tell us how to do that?
Yeah. So we're in our cart, we've just maximized it. If you click mark front desk checkout, that will send this invoice directly to your little inbox for the front desk. So if you have a member up front taking those payments, you can use this method. And that one thing on that too, it sends everything to a centralized inbox. So if your front desk user is on the iPad, for example, they would have a little inbox right over here that would say front desk checkout. They can click on that inbox, and anything that you've sent to them would then show up as a line item. So they can easily click into the invoice and then finalize that payment.
And now, Victoria, can they add retail products at that point if they're at the front desk and they want to add sunscreen or something?
I will have to double check on that. I know that I think it actually might lock the invoice. So let us double check that.
I feel like you can. I don't have the ability to have the little inbox because I don't have a front desk user permission. But
is that a question for Melissa?
No, it's a question from me.
For you.
Yeah.
Well, to be determined. I think that it does lock the invoice though, unless we've pushed out a new update for that. It used to work that way.
Well, stay tuned on that one, guys. I didn't mean to give you a stumper on that, but we'll figure that out. I think there was one more thing on her price of charge. Okay. Hopefully that answers all of those. I think the one thing I would recommend if you're doing a lot of custom discounts, so this is probably for tomorrow's discussion as well, but if you have the same custom discount all the time, like a friends and family version discount of something, you can certainly always make like a friends and family variation. So just think about the variations as anything you do a lot, that's kind of the norm for your practice. That's not really a discount. It's like the everyday thing that you're going to do. Instead of putting a discount in, just rename a new version of the product to be, you know, if you have a like a gym in town that you do an exchange with, so they get discounts always, maybe you just have a few things that they always get on a discount. Like we always give them Botox and Juvederm at a discount. Well, then just have things in there called, PowerWorks Fitness Botox if you wanted to. So there's no need to go in and actually put a discount on it. It just pulls up as the pricing you've already set for PowerWorks discount, or PowerWorks Fitness Botox, PowerWorks Fitness Juvederm. So it just allows you to do less work. We're all about efficiency here. So if you're going to do the same thing over and over again in a manual way, just automate it where it's easier for you at the point of checkout. Okay, cost to company, yes. What time is it? I don't even know what time it is. Okay, we have a few minutes here. We can cover this. We can cover the cost to company if you'd like us to. I will share. We're gonna take a little deep left here, guys, on cost to company. So we're gonna go to inventory, and Gretchen will show you two different ways that cost to company shows up. So let's say we'll go back to Botox. We've been using that one. And one example here. So you see here on the very front page, cost to company. Hopefully that's what you're wanting to find out here. So in our case for Botox, it's $6 per unit cost to company. And what you could do on cost to company is think about it in two ways. You could think about cost to company as the actual invoice cost to company, or it could be, I know for every patient who comes in, I have to pay my injector 25 cents per unit injection fee plus the actual Botox costs. I may want this to be $6.25. Or I have always a share of the money going to rent, utilities. Like I know there's an extra buck involved in medical supplies. You could change the cost of company to reflect your actual cost of company to get to more of a net number, or just use whatever Adrian charges you directly here. So that's the easiest way for cost of company to work. Does that answer your question? Maybe. Because I'm going to show you another variation to that, just in case you want it. So if you order some Botox and you buy it on a promo, so let me see if I can.
I just added that top one for you.
Oh, you did?
So
did you add me one?
So I think if you refresh, you should be all good.
Right
but
here?
That's all set for you. Yep, that's all set for you to receive it and set your cost to company.
Perfect. So let's say that our typical Dysport cost to company is $2 a unit, but because our friends at Galderma are worried about our COVID crisis, they've offered us a good discount of 50 cents off per unit. So when I go to receive this product, what I can do is receive it, and our invoice number is, I don't know, something crazy, batch ID, something crazy. I'm receiving all 100, and I hit save. I can actually go in. I should have edited it first, huh?
Let me see.
Edit it first. Ah! Redo.
Let me reset that up real quick.
I didn't get a cost prompt, actually. Usually I get like a little cost thing.
I know. We might need to check on that real quick, because usually usually when you accept it, there should be.
Ah, it's at the time of purchase order. It's at the time of the purchase order. I did it on the wrong end. So hold on a minute, guys. I'll show you. We just did it backward. Don't worry. We got you. Sorry. Let's say it's Galderma for our Lovely Lines Clinic. And this is going to be our COVID Dysport discount, because they're so nice to us over at the Galderma. And we're going to put in Dysport. And just for this one particular order, because it's a one-time deal, if I get 10 vials, then instead of it being $500 a unit, they're going to give it to us for $400 a unit. And I'm going to pay $400 a vial. I'm going to pay no taxes and hit save. And so now when I receive those units in, it's going to change the cost of company for just that amount of units. And then once I go through all those, it'll go back to the regular cost of company. So for that lot number when I receive it, so if I go here and view my details, the shipment has come in. I'm receiving it now. Once I receive, it's now 4,000 versus what would be 5,000. I receive all of these. Again, some random number here and here. I receive all 10 vials. I click save. Then when those go into my inventory for those 10 vials, you're going to see a different unit price than you would for my normal pricing. We're into the same thing. So it's like you can change for that PO only the pricing variant. So you can change whatever it is you want to for the PO only. So if you're going to get like a really great deal for that PO, change it. And the good thing about POs is the minute I hit receive and save, they're automatically added to my inventory. I don't have to go into inventory and do anything at all. The PO is tied to the inventory. So it's all done in an automated fashion on the back end. Hopefully I didn't confuse everyone on that. My fault for going in the wrong order. Okay, we feel good about that? Any more questions? Okay, well, I feel like we've covered quite a bit here on variations. Try them out. If you have questions, send us a note or a chat and let us know. We'll be glad to help you get those all worked out, and even look over the ones that you've built and see if they are helpful, make sense, or if you want to make some tweaks to them. But just remember, in your inventory section up here, if you can't touch it in your hand, it's not on an invoice from a supplier, it isn't true inventory. It is a variation of what would be inventory. So think about anything that's not real life on the invoice, make it a variant, and then you'll be able to keep really good records of your actual inventory, but then have different variations for the patient to see on their invoice. So I think we're all good.
I think so.
Okay. Well, guys, hopefully we'll see some of you tomorrow for our data cleanup. We'll go through lots of places where you might have some missteps with bad data to make all your reporting super accurate. So we will see you hopefully tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.